Hey there, y'all. All right, so I didn't want to go out. I didn't want to go out. If you're on the East Coast, you know how thick and humid and hot and gross it is outside. But today was decided before, like 2 days ago, that it was going to be a running day. So I went ahead and did it. And look, I survived. I survived. And actually, I did better time than I have for that same distance the whole time. So I'm making progress even in these conditions of thickness and heavy and yuck, and who knows what the breathing factor is out here. I definitely, as soon as I walked out the door, I felt like tightness in the chest. But actually, I think my muscles appreciated the temperature because my body actually felt pretty good going at it. And I didn't have too much of any respiratory, just making sure that I took extra sips of water. So another thing too is I haven't been doing it much when I run. Like when I was running before, I did it once or twice and then kind of came away from it. And then now, my first time again, coming out in a sports bra. This is something that years ago would have been like, oh hell no, something that I wouldn't have done whatsoever out in public because of the way I felt about my body and just feeling insecure and all of those things. And maybe it's the 40s, who knows, mama's getting free. It's like, fuck it, let it all hang out, right? So that felt really good. And I got my new little pouch bag on with the water going. So I was taking my sips along the way and got my natural detox going on here, which feels really, really good. But the progress, so just in a couple days, I was able to shave off time. I have to look at how much time I shaved off, but I feel like it was at least a minute. I have to look at it. But again, shave off time, and the conditions were, worse than what they have been, and still able to go ahead and get in progress. So that's what I want to talk to you guys about, progress. How can you make progress? Where in your life are you making progress? Again, no perfection. Progress has been on my mind a whole lot lately, like a whole lot. So I want to invite you guys to start thinking about progress a little bit more, because sometimes we can get so wrapped up in what's not working, what's not good, what's going to be an issue, where we're not with certain things, whether it's financials or education or location or like all those different things. Sometimes we have to really sit back and just take a minute. You could tie in the gratitude, but to look at all the progress that we've made along the way. Just think about, where were you a year ago? Where were you 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, right? Like all those things, and look at the areas in which you've made progress and have had growth, and give yourself some time to reflect on that and appreciate that, and then even go a step further to reflect on what was mixed into that progress. So there was growth that has happened with that progress, right? There were probably skill sets that you learned along the way during that progress or situation or experience or thing. So just being able to be mindful of all the things that you've experienced. I encourage you guys to actually take out a journal, take out paper. You can take out your laptop if you want, but maybe just go back like 10 years and kind of list all the areas in your life. I'm a holistic type person, so body, mind, spirit, throw that in the mix and kind of look at all those areas, 10 years, the areas that you've had growth and achieved progress. And then you can look at, if you want, where are some other areas that I would like to invite progress in, and then kind of play with that. But don't forget the skill set and the experience and the confidence and all the things that you built along the way with that progress from the past. Okay, so always carry that with you. That's something that was just really speaking to me, because I myself can get into moments of like frustration with where I am with a particular thing, You know, but once I sit and kind of look at it like, okay, but look at where you were a year ago, 2 years ago. You weren't able to do A, B, and C. And now you're able to do all these things that you didn't even know how to do back then. You wouldn't even entertain them. You would have ran away from them. And now you can do them. So just, that is my thing for you guys today. We'll call that a Flashback Friday, right? Flashback to your progress and reflect on it. And I would like you guys to share, maybe list 3 areas of your life, 3 things, whatever you want to make the connection to, that you've made progress, that you want to share with us. It's okay to share the things that you've made progress and the things that you've achieved and had growth on. That can inspire someone else. That could be a really good thing that could be helpful to someone else to know that no matter what age, what situation is going on, that progress can be made. Okay, so that was speaking to me, guys, through the run. So I had to share that with you all. Thank you for being here. Hello, hello. So I also wanted to share some major progress with you guys also. So the running progress, yes, woo woo. And I'll continue. My intention is to continue with that. Remember, my goal is to be able to run a 5K without stopping at all. That is my ultimate goal. I do probably have to firm up the deadline on that, but it's my overall vision to be able to do that. So we'll say before the end of this year. That's my goal. Okay, I'm putting it out there to you guys now. All right, but with that, some other progress that I wanted to share. I'm so excited to share with you guys. So you guys have, I have the Lively Living with Lupus podcast. Lupus is a part of my journey, a part of my story. I was diagnosed when Jace was born. So we had suspected that I had lupus for years. Pain, rashes, extreme fatigue, muscle aches, stomach aches, headaches, like all kinds of different things, on and off for years, and suspected in a couple blood tests here and there that were showing some things, and then had Jace. So we already suspected. So once our labor and delivery with Jace went all to hell. Emergency C-section. He was in the NICU. As soon as I was discharged, I was readmitted back to the hospital for 2 blood transfusions, complications for months, all kinds of things. Anyway, I had them test me for lupus, and I officially got the diagnosis with Jace's birth. Okay, so that was that, and then I had Javen, and with Javen's birth, we knew about that high risk. He came early. He was a NICU baby. I had to give myself injections because of antiphospholipid syndrome, something that I have as part of the autoimmune space. So I had to give the injection so I wouldn't clot or lose him or anything like that. So I went through that. And then after that, it was periods of, having 2 young kids, being waves. With lupus, it comes in flares, kind of up and down, but I had ran into a really, really bad, rough patch. So it was probably about 9 years ago, because I'm 9 years on the journey. So it was around that time that Jace was being diagnosed on the autism spectrum, that, things were really bad with my body, my health, and my energy level, and even my back. So degenerative disc disease was an issue. There was times I couldn't get out the bed. I had to call my mom to come help because Jay is at work, and I had the kids. There was all kinds of different things, plus some additional lab works, liver things that were involved, and what else? Yeah. So just things out of whack. And so that time realizing, okay, here I have these 2 kids, this husband, and my family, and the vision that I had for myself and my life, things weren't going as planned. And, I had to kind of look at a lot of things. So I was going to doctors, doing all the things, was on a lot of meds. I felt like I was at the point, so around the time I changed things around 9 years ago, it felt like every time I go to a doctor's office, I was getting another medication. 9 medications, and still on the couch way more than I wanted to be, still having trouble doing things that I should have been able to do. And here I was in my early 30s. I had blood pressure medicines. There was times of having Percocet and Flexerol and like all kinds of mix of medications And I knew, of course, those medications aren't something that I wanted to be on or be playing with. So inside of me, while I was going through all that, I knew that, I know nobody wants to feel like that or go through those things, but I knew that something was speaking to me that things had to change. I had to figure out a way. How can I help change this situation? Because I go to the doctor, he looks at me, he writes me a script, or he sends me for a test, and I go back home. And nothing really changes. We're not having any deep conversations about how I can help myself or the healing or anything else. And it's like, what are we gonna do? So I started getting nudges, like speaking to me, things kind of like, I guess my gut, my intuition, kind of saying, seek, like you need to look. So I'm looking at things online. I remember, I swear, I feel like my computer was like really huge. I feel like times being up late researching things about lupus and healing, and I started to turn on this mentality: who has what I have and they're able to thrive, and I'm gonna find them. I need to find these people. So I started looking up for some of those people, and I would find a couple of little videos here and there or article, and I would look up things in regards to research and kind of look up tests. It's at least trying to get me look up tests, and she scratched me, little girl. Look up like what some of my lab results, what they meant, what did that mean for me and my future, being positive for this antibody or having this diagnosis or having this inflammation level or like all of those things. So it was part having my nursing hat on, and just part like curiosity and just kind of like being guided to look at certain things. And so I started taking action. Like I would hear and see the themes, and so one of the themes was food, and so that was kind of like the first thing that started speaking to me, and it was just kind of like, what's up with this? These people are saying that they ate this certain way and things changed for them, like seriously? And so I would explore that and just capture that information. A lot of the information I would take, put it on file, just kind of sit with it. I was processing it, kind of, thinking about it. It wasn't something I just jumped into. It was kind of sitting on it until I was in a place and space to take some action. Anyway, so 9 years ago, I started taking some action on it. I made a decision. My birthday is March 19th. March 20th of that year, was it 2011? I think it was 2011. Was it? Yeah, I don't know, I can't count. Anyway, so 9 years ago. And so much changed quickly. So I started with the intention of working like with the food. I worked with the food. I went more plant-based, and I noticed things change in the way that I felt, and I started to lose weight, and then things started to happen, and I was like, okay. So that was inspiring and motivating that this thing was working, right? I was getting hope. I was finding progress. Well, I was making progress and finding, other ideas. And so then, with that decision at that time in March to go ahead and start tweaking the food, I also sat with myself, and I do a lot of like just sitting myself, reflecting, thinking, processing, listening to the things that speak to me. And so I made a decision that you're not going to just stop there at food. You're going to continue to explore this, and down the line, it was also thoughts of like coming from a family there's a lot of different health issues and addiction history and things like that. It was like, okay, I don't want to be sick. I don't want to be addicted. I don't want to have, all these things. I damn sure don't want any of these things for my kids. So there's going to have to be like a whole foundational change. Like shit needs to change from the inside out, and I need to do a lot of work. And of course, I need to make sure my kids are good. So I need to learn a whole lot. And so that was kind of the intention, but I needed to make it fun because, hello, my attention span and focus, it needs to be fun, it needs to be engaging, it needs to be creative, all those things. So I would start going to different like health, wellness events. I decided to seek those things out, and just one thing led to the other, led to the other, led to the other. It was just like continual progress, slowly but surely. I always feel like, and I always tell people, even with having a child on the autism spectrum, going to like every support group that I went to or information session, even if there was just one thing, that one thing guided us to the next step out of that whole 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour, whatever thing. There's always one thing I'm going to get out of it. You know, at least that's how I've experienced it, to make progress. And slowly but surely it adds up, and it's super, super, super valuable. So I invite you to, you know, think about that too, if there's something that you're struggling with or trying to gain some more knowledge and all on. So it was just a process of like continuing, and then I ended up 3 years into the journey going to, where did I go? I went to, and at this time I was a nurse in mental health. And I will say that, you know, being a nurse in mental health, you get to see, experience, and hear and listen to a whole lot. So I definitely learned a lot of things and took things with me that helped me on my journey. Even if it's just learning from someone else's experience or insights or pains or, you know, all of those things. And of course the education that we're given in that space too. In any case, 3 years into my journey, I went to the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. So that just like, I was kind of guided there, right? Because I was going to these wellness events and I was guided to that. And then boom, you know, here I am taking freaking a 1-year course to become a certified health coach at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, which was like awesome. It was a great decision. I'm so glad that I made it, and so awesome. I met so many amazing people from that, and then that guided me to the next thing, and then just more and more, slowly but surely, seeing the progress in my health, the progress in my body, the progress in my work environment, the progress in, here I am in this health coaching space. I mean, the progress with being able to help my children, like, holy shit, progress, slowly but surely, right? It doesn't happen that fast. And so 9 years later, like, still making progress. So I want to invite you guys to make progress, right? Like, where can you make progress in your life? Where do you want to? Not perfection. Perfection be like, ugh. You know, I understand like certain things, if you're a designer, like artist, like sometimes certain things that need to be precise, certain engineers, right? Like there's certain things, yeah, for sure. We know that, like surgeons, like certain things need to be perfect. We get it. But, you know, for the most part, for a lot of us kind of navigating around in life, you know, progress is really, really, really important. And if we get in that perfect state or mindset and it's causing us pain or frustration, then that's something to look at. So with that, I want you guys to make progress. So I'm talking to my, you know, those of you guys that have lupus. If you have lupus or you know someone with lupus, they need to hear this, that you can make progress. Even if you have, you know, challenging symptoms and multiple diagnoses, there can still be progress. Not perfection, not cure, but you can still achieve progress, even if it's going from a pain level of 11 to 8. We'll take it at progress, right? It's a little bit better than what it was. And so that's what I'm talking about, making progress. Of course, I mean, some people can go from, you know, I mean, I was at, like I said, 9 medications to now I'm not on no prescribed medications. I take a baby aspirin as part of that antiphospholipid syndrome, and that's it. You know, I know that not everybody can do that, and I know not everybody's the same, but I still do believe that a holistic approach, a body, mind, spirit approach can be super beneficial to a lot of people. It can really help a lot of people, and it doesn't mean you don't see your doctors and you don't take your meds. That's not what it means. You know, have an intention of focusing on your life in a holistic manner, in addition to having your doctor and your team and your support and all those things, and you look at all the benefits of that. And so just even joining the American Holistic Nurses Association, like, they are freaking awesome. I'll tell you, because a lot of times when I was thinking about the holistic stuff, I'm like, oh, people, might think I'm kind of weird and stuff. And I mean, now you hear about it a whole lot more, but when I first started, I definitely had people like looking at me like I was crazy. In any case, knowing that there's American Holistic Nurses Association, that's all they talk about. It's like self-care and coping skills and really taking care of yourself in outside of the box ways, all of those things. I just love that exists, and that's why I continue to learn more in that space. Okay, so the progress. So Lively Living with Lupus, I have the podcast, right? You guys know that. I think I might have started that thought and railed off. Lupus Fog, who knows? All right, and so the Lively Living with Lupus course, a couple of you guys might have heard me talk about it before in the past. About a year ago, I created a digital course. The technology on it wasn't on a major platform. It wasn't as easy to navigate, but the content was still very, very valuable. But I am excited to say that the Lively Living with Lupus course is relaunching and newer and better than before and ever. And it's going to continue to evolve, and it's going to continue to help people in many, many ways. And I'm so, so excited. It's going to open up August 1st, but you can go ahead and get your seat in now. And I will be sending out some pre-work along with that, something to have you kind of prep before you start taking the course in August. Again, this is for people with lupus or lupus-like diagnosis, so other autoimmune diagnosis that fit some of that profile. And we're going to work on in the course all online. You can go at your own pace, look at the foundation of what helped me heal. And so it's going through food and physical activity and stress management and self-care, like those things that I just feel are really, really important. And coming into it is going to be mindset as well. There's going to be a module on mindset because I just think that is super, super important. Also coping skills as well, because they are critical. Hello, 2020, COVID, all the things. And that's another thing too, with this coronavirus going on, us with autoimmune, there's again all the extra layers of stress in addition to this super virus, right, that's going around. We need to make sure that we protect ourselves from the inside out as much as we can. Work on our structure to make sure that we're strong and resilient, but also our insides, making sure that that's strong, our cells are strong and resilient. And so stress is a huge part of that. And so if our stress is out of whack, you already know, as someone with lupus, how easily it is to get into a flare with stress levels. And so even if you have good stress, graduation, wedding, new job, whatever, right? For us, that can be something that could really throw things out of whack. So it's so important to have your foundation very, very strong and have all your go-to tools, strategies, and resources that can help keep you in the game of life, make gains and progress, and keep you away from disease progression. Like, that's another thing. Like, I want to help people if there's something that you can do within lifestyle, I know there are things you can do in lifestyle so that you don't have disease progression, that you don't have worsening of symptoms or condition. That's what I want to help you with too. Okay? Because that's super, super important. I was, before the 9 years, if I would have continued on the path that I was on, I was obese, I was on blood pressure medications, I was having liver involvement. I think I even had a liver biopsy. Yeah, liver biopsy. Anyway, there was things going on that if I did not change anything, I know this, if I did not change anything, I don't even know if I would be standing here right now, or, how things would be. Because things would I could be just laying in the bed all day, I could have been in pain, who knows what could have happened. So I'm so, so grateful for being able to listen to my intuition, to take action on some of these things, which is some of what I'll talk about in the course too, because I think intuition is is so important to be able to tap in and in tune with that. Oh, also there's advocacy. Being able to advocate for yourself is critical. When I first started the journey, I was very, very passive and had a hard time speaking up for myself, and I thought that all the doctors were right and knew all the things and everything else, and while they know information and they bring a lot to the table, they don't know everything and they don't know your body. And so we've seen that too, right? I'm sure you might have some experience with that. So it's so important to be able to advocate. So as I was learning to advocate for Jace and my kids, I started to build that muscle of advocating for myself. So again, you can see a lot of progress in a lot of different areas. And that's what I want to invite you to. If you're someone with lupus or autoimmune condition and you are looking to make progress in body, mind, spirit, let's touch base, let's talk, but also check out this new course. If you are interested in learning more about the course, let me know. I can touch base with you and give you some information on that and give you all the details. All right, so again, progress. Progress, progress, progress. You guys got it? That's the theme. It's getting too dark. The bugs are coming out. All right, thanks for listening to me, guys. Have a beautiful evening. Ooh, Mosquitoville, USA. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.